Hey,
Nicholas Kusmich.
How are you, brother?
I'm good, man.
Awesome.
Welcome to the penthouse.
It's beautiful here.
Thank you. Are you ready to share some Facebook wisdom?
Ready to rock and roll, my friend.
All right, let's do it. Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Entrepreneur Show. This is going to be incredibly insightful because of this guy right here, my good friend, Nicholas Kusmich. How are you doing, brother?
Very good. Totally excited to be here. Excited to chat with you and see where all this goes.
All right. Well, here's the quick backstory. So Nicholas and I became friends because we were in a mastermind with our good friend Kam Mirza. It was in Washington, D.C. a few years ago. And I said, this guy is really cool and super smart. And you were the only other person who had Louis Vuitton bags, so I knew you had style.
See? Gotta represent.
I swear I remember that. When you were checking into the hotel, I said, hey, he's got some style. Good for him, man. And then I learned that he's actually one of the most highly regarded and highly paid Facebook advertising experts in the entire world. The top people in the world hire you to figure out how to market on Facebook.
Right.
Because you are the dude. So we're going to talk about what you can learn from Nicholas about advertising on Facebook, how you can grow your business, improve your ROI, and figure out maybe why it hasn't been working. But before we get to that, there's the cliffhanger. See how I did that? Marketing lesson 101. Open the loop. All right. We're going to talk about your backstory, how you got into entrepreneurship, because everyone has this interesting entrepreneur creation story. So what is it for you?
I wish I could say I was born with this fantastic aspiration with DNA for entrepreneurship and all that. For me, it was kind of the other way around. I almost feel like I was forced into it. So what I mean by that is I witnessed my father have his first heart attack when I was 4 years old.
Oh, wow.
Since 4 till 17, we lived in and out of hospital. Just complication after complication after complication. My parents owned a very small convenience store. That was their little small home business. So I guess the entrepreneurship DNA was there, but just enough to kind of barely pay the bills to get by, and that's what was happening. Then my dad had his third stroke. Wow. I was 17 years old, and it took him out of commission from the perspective of he just couldn't work anymore. Mom went out to try and get a job for the first time as an immigrant woman, and I'll never forget the day. I'm sitting there on a Saturday morning on my couch. Mom walks home, and with tears in her eyes. And I said, Mom, what happened? She didn't want to tell me, of course. You don't want to be vulnerable in front of your kids. I said, Mom, what happened? And she said, I just went for a job interview to fold clothes at a laundromat, and I didn't get the job because I couldn't speak English well. And right there at 17 years old, I said, I'm not going to allow this to ever happen again. And something inside of me said, I've got to figure this out. I don't know what this was, but I'm going to figure this out. That combined with the fact, and this is kind of a whole side story, I felt like I had to do something to make the world a better place. My worldview at the time told me that would be through my faith practice. So simultaneously at 17 years old, I made a commitment to take care of my family somehow, whatever that meant, and B, start pastoring a church. So I started my own first church when I was 17, and I made the commitment, I am not going to take a salary from the church, so how am I going to figure this all out? So that was the foray. I was back against the corner. I had to support my family as an only child. I had to be the primary breadwinner and figure the whole game out, and that was the beginning.
Wow. You're actually the second guest that I've had that started in ministry.
Wow.
I never thought that would be the case for the Entrepreneur Show, but maybe a trend is emerging here.
Maybe.
Who knows? So that had to be tough. And by the way, your family is from Ukraine.
So my dad's from the Ukraine, my mom's from Korea.
From Korea, okay. And you live in Toronto.
I do. Born and raised.
But you're a citizen of the world.
I am.
So what are some of the setbacks along the way? Because now you're doing very well, but what are some of the big ones? And also I think that the lesson I wanted to share here is you can overcome those challenges, that adversity.
Yeah, the setbacks are unending. I mean, I feel like there's this kind of perception out in the marketplace where like, hey, once you've made it, you've made it. And the challenges go away.
No.
I don't know what world people are living in to believe that. But the setbacks were incredible. I mean, Dad was sick, obviously, so I'm forced to try and figure this out. All the while I'm trying to pastor a church and ensure that Dad doesn't pass on me. So I'm spending every single day in hospital because he has renal kidney failure. It means 3 days a week I'm in hospital by his side, 4 hours a day, watching his blood be taken out of his body, put a machine, and put back in it.
He had to be pretty young during this time.
Well, he had me a little later in life, so he had me when he was about 50.
Okay.
So he was in his 60s or 70s-ish.
Okay.
But I mean, I was dealing with that. I was dealing with the fact that mom was, having a hard time finding work. I was dealing with the fact that I was pastoring a church. And look, all hell was breaking loose all around me. There's this weird belief that, hey, it's really easy to make this entrepreneur thing work. And for me, it was literally failure after failure after failure. Hey, I tried this internet marketing thing. I tried affiliate marketing. I tried writing an ebook and selling the ebook. And literally, it was failure after failure. And I think the greatest struggle of it all was just a shock to my confidence. It's that incredible negative feeling when you wake up and you're like, maybe I can't figure this out. Maybe it's not worth trying to figure out. So
you got some self-doubt.
Ridiculous amount, and I think that's what perpetuated all the difficulties, because then once you lose your confidence and you have all this self-doubt, you're like, should I try that? Should I not? Will it ever work? I remember asking myself that every single day. Will this ever work? And everyone will come by and like, oh, you got this. Go, and like, you don't understand, like my life and my family and everything is on the line here. So the combination of dad being sick, me trying to figure this all out, failure after failure after failure, the self-doubt, like all of that was just a heavy, heavy, heavy burden for so many years. And trying to figure it out and navigate through it was quite the challenge.
How many years do you think it was from the inception of entrepreneurship to the point where you said, this will be my life, it is going to work, although I may have some setbacks, I'm here?
God, it had to be like 10 to 14 years. Like literally of doubting myself every single day, to kind of bring closure to the idea. So 14 years as a pastor, doing an internet marketing hustle on the side to pay the bills. I decided to step away from that. And I thought I was going to take a year break. And I'm like, you know what, for this year, I'm going to focus on entrepreneurship. I'm going to focus on really making this work. I didn't know if it would. My fiance at the time, now my wife, was like, you know what, I got your back. Take the year to figure this out. Took the year, started working it out, and all of a sudden, I think like the 14 years of perseverance and dedication and knowledge and all of it kind of coming together, and then basically burning my bridges and saying, you know what, there's nowhere to go but forward. I'm going to do this or die. All the culmination of that, 14 years later, I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this work. Still some self-doubt, but things started to piece together, and I started to recognize opportunities. I started working smarter rather than harder. Very hard too, but like making intelligent decisions, not chasing the next shiny object, and then the pieces started to fit.
So let me ask you about the shiny object thing, because
oh God.
I know it's so funny that we all have to talk about that, and I don't know if it's just that entrepreneurs tend to be more ADD, ADHD, or whatever, it's a label, and I know sometimes that's good and bad, and I get all that.
Yeah.
We as entrepreneurs tend to get excited about the next best, biggest thing too early when we should be focusing on the thing that is starting to gain momentum. And I can be fully transparent and honest and say that has probably been the thing that has held me back from greater levels of success.
Sure.
Is saying, oh, but then now I want to go do that, and I'm thinking, I'm already doing well with this. It's already making money. Why don't I scale this and grow what already is working? Because the foundation is there.
Yeah.
So, what do you do?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked this question, because I had an actual experience where I walked into a very expensive mastermind group. We paid $25,000 for it.
Wow.
And usually when you pay that kind of money, you're like, I'm going to max out every last minute of opportunity that comes here. There's another gentleman by the name of Carl who was there at the time. He walked in. We're sitting in the first session, something was shared, and about 5 minutes into the first day of session 1, he walks out. 5 minutes, and he's like, I'm going. I said, what do you mean you're going?
Going where?
Yeah, where are you going? What, to the restroom? Like, what's going on here? I later caught up with him, and he said, I got my idea for this quarter. I'm done. Because if I stay longer, I'm going to be distracted.
And how successful is he?
Well, right now, very.
Okay,
super.
interesting.
but here's the interesting thing. He told me a story or a metaphor that I live by now, and this changed my life, called broken bridges. And the idea with broken bridges, he goes, Nick, so many times entrepreneurs will see a shiny object. They're here, they want to get to this, and there's a gap in the middle. And so we try to fill the gap by saying, oh, well, Facebook marketing, let's do that. And so they start building that bridge to get over to this gap. But before they land here, they said, oh, wait a second. Video is what I got to do. So they start building a video bridge. Oh, wait a second. Content marketing, or like culture, or building teams. And what happens is that entire year goes by. And when you look back, all you see, even though you're very busy, all you see are a series of broken or incomplete bridges. And the advice was, when you find the thing that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, that works, that's driving revenue, stay with it until the bridge is complete. Once the bridge is complete, then go find the next thing and the next thing. And that year, when he told me that, something clicked. And I said, I'm going to put on the blinders. And I did what some people think are a little nuts, a 1-year information fast. No podcasts, no masterminds, no courses, no programs,
so you're not
no
listening
books,
to a podcast?
Nothing. I literally said, for this 1 year, I'm not going to consume any more information. All I'm going to do is go through all the information I know I already had and start deploying and building a bridge. Frankly, that was the most productive and successful year. Now, not revenue-wise, things have grown since then, but the most like growth-based year I've ever had in my life. And now, although I'm not on an information fast, I'm on a very, very strict information diet. And I put 80 to 90% of my energy on implementation on the things that I know are working for me, the revenue generating things, and maybe 10% of my energy exploring opportunities. And that's been a game changer for me.
Wow, I love it. All right, you guys, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about what's working right now for Facebook ads. Pictures, video, is it a slideshow? Is that the right word?
Carousel.
Oh, carousel.
The whole thing.
There you go. I want to make sure I use the right terminology.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to show you and tell you and explain to you what's working right now, what you can implement fast, because he's one of the top guys in the entire world for this stuff. So go nowhere. We'll be right back. Hi, my name is John Spencer Ellis, and I want to help you reach all of your personal, professional, physical, and financial goals. You have greatness within you, and sometimes you just need a coach, a trainer, and a mentor to help you realize your full potential. Since the age of 12, I have immersed myself in the study and practice of maximizing human potential, physically, mentally, personally, professionally, and financially. I believe you and I have so much to offer, to experience, and to give to the world. It's time for you to step into your brilliance and shine like you're supposed to right now. I invite you to learn how I can help you reach your goals and dreams. Thanks for your time. Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Show. My guest is Kusmich. I always want to make sure I pronounce that right. So I actually want you to tell the audience exactly how you pronounce your last name.
Nicholas Kusmich.
See, I was close.
You're so close.
I butchered it just slightly.
No, but you know what? In post-production, we
do some
probably
voiceover.
would have not even noticed.
You know, if we can get Morgan Freeman to do it, because he's going to sound way better than me. That'd be awesome.
Morgan makes everything sound better.
Just insert that in. It'll have no continuity, but it will sound epic. That'd be so great.
Both of our names. Why don't we do it?
All right, you guys. So here we are, segment 2 of the Entrepreneur Show. Nicholas is going to share with you what's working right now for Facebook and the immediate future. And then in segment 3, coming up, we're going to talk about the future of Facebook.
Yeah.
So what's happening now and like for the next 3 to 4 or 5 months in Facebook? Are picture ads dead, or is it all video? What's the story there?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I always like to lean towards images, not necessarily because they work better, but there's way less things that can go wrong. So my general rule of thumb is, hey, like if you're phenomenal on camera, or you have a great video setup, or you know how to like pick the right type of video, I would lean more towards video than images, because obviously video is the future and the present. Like this is video, for goodness sakes, right? But what I tend to find is if we're going to split test an image versus a video, 8 times out of 10, the image will outperform, only because, again, less things to go wrong. I mean, so you got to remember the mindset of the general Facebook user. They have zero trust. If they don't know you, they don't trust you. And so the cognitive bias for them is, I'm looking for any reason to say no to you. And video, there's a lot of things to say no to, right? If the background wasn't nice, if you don't look great, if you said the wrong thing, if the audio cracks, if whatever, you're slightly out of frame, that person's like, oh, can't trust that person, right? So it's a no. With an image, there's very few opportunities to say no to anything. So in general, we would like images over video because less things to go wrong. But heck, if you could do video well, video is where it's at. Everyone loves watching video. That's where you need to be.
So, it also depends, I guess, if it's a retarget versus reaching a cold or warm audience. In general, if I exclude all the other factors, in general, I will get a lower cost per click with an image, but fewer people see the ad with an image.
Sure.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and again, anyone who pretends to understand the Facebook algorithm is a liar, and the algorithm's always changing, right? So you don't know. But what I do want to emphasize the point is, I believe that 80% of the success of your ad is going to be your creative, meaning your video, your image. This will make or break you could be the best copywriter in the world. You could have the best targeting in the world. You could bid like a ninja with some secret bidding strategies. You could do all of that. But if your creative misses the mark, right, it's a scroll by. You have whatever number of seconds, that's a scientific term, to literally have someone, like, as they're doing this at warp speed, to capture their attention for them to read the rest of that. And so your creative needs to be the focal point of your actual ad conversation.
Well, if you guys, when you watch the opening sequence of this show, look at the first 5 segments. It's a time lapse of I think originally we set up this time lapse camera in this direction, an inferior angle coming up, and it pushes in as it does a time lapse. So it has a distortion of time. You see a lot of things that happen very quickly, and it gets even a little distorted at the end. It gets a little elongated, almost like you're entering the Matrix. And also the music has a crescendo. And so we're doing all that intentionally in the first few seconds. So you go, oh, wait, hold on. What's this? If you're not yet aware of what we're doing, because we need to pull you in just long enough to say, oh, wait a minute, this might be something of interest.
Yeah, the whole point of the creative is to capture attention. So some people can do that with a pattern interrupt if you're intelligent enough to do something on the screen that, again, with a time lapse or a different color or some music in exchange, like the whole point you should be thinking in your head is, what must I do to capture attention? But do it in an elegant, native way. I mean, you could do something pretty douchey. You could be naked on there. You could do whatever to capture attention, but that's not the point. It's not just attention. It's relevant attention for your ideal prospect. We can talk about some of the things that people can do to do that.
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
So think about it. I believe that the creative has 2 primary objectives. The overall one being capture attention. So let's talk about images. And the same applies to video, but let's just talk about images. What could you do to an image in order to use that to capture the attention of your ideal prospect? The age-old saying goes, where's the best place to hide a tree? The answer is in a forest. Why? Because it blends in. I want you to see the Facebook newsfeed as a forest and your creative as a tree. If it's just going to be a regular tree, a regular image, or a regular video, and let's talk about images first, what about it is going to have someone just be like, oh, that's not just a normal tree, I want to see more? I think there's 2, maybe 3 things, and there's many more, but let's talk about 2 or 3 things that you probably can do right away starting today to capture image. So let's say, and this works like gangbusters, and I don't know why more people don't do it. You're just scrolling through your newsfeed and you see color image after color image after color image after color image, because that's mostly what it's going to be. What might you do to your image to get it stand out?
I'm going to guess desaturate or black and white.
Right. Imagine going grayscale, which is nothing more than dropping it in a photo editor, going grayscale or desaturating, and all of a sudden that image looks different, and that's all you need. It's still the same image, but it looks different. In fact, we had one guy by the name of Gerald who lives out in Malaysia. He runs an e-commerce store, and he was showing all these images. He's like, man, we're not getting any sales. And he goes, I remember Nick saying, change the image to black and white. Let's see what happens. They went grayscale with the image, and his words, not mine. We went from 0 sales to $50,000 a month in sales for that one ad.
Wow.
Only because I think it was a great ad, but it wasn't capturing attention until he went black and white with it. Or what about if you did the opposite? So what I mean by that is if you're seeing like just regular image after regular image after regular image, what if you took that image and you made it pop by increasing the contrast? Now
I think that's one of the things I first learned from you, and that does help a lot.
100%, because again, you think about the mind of the person who's actually looking at it. They're just seeing image after image, and all of a sudden, bam, something just pops a little harder, a little sharper, longer, harder contrast. Now they're gonna be like, whoa, what's this? And that's all you need. All you need is that reaction. Whoa, what's this? Because that's going to get them to continue. So those two things. Or what if you did, and this is kind of more recent, what if you did a combination of the two? So you ever seen those images that are all black and white except the red rows?
Right.
Now you have the high contrast with a black and white. All of a sudden these images start to get noticed. And now you're not just blending in the group of trees, but you're standing out, and that's all you need. You need someone to stop and say, whoa, what's this? Continue reading. If your copy's good, the offer's good, they're going to take those next steps.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm just trying to think of some things I learned from you. I change contrast.
Right.
I change lighter, dark, and color saturation.
Right.
But I got to be honest, I don't think I have done a desaturation or grayscale black and white.
Or even like a sepia tone, like anything that's a little different.
I need to do that.
Well, here, and can I tell the second part of this? One thing that people don't do. We all know as business owners or entrepreneurs, hey, why do we make a transactional decision? Is it based on logic or emotion? We know. We make all of our decisions based on emotion, and then we justify it by logic. Yet when I see most of the images out there on the Facebook ad platform, they are very like logic-driven images, like a laptop on a desk with a pen and a notepad. Now that's not a bad image, but it's appealing to the wrong side of the brain.
It tells a story, but it doesn't maybe get you excited.
Yes. So what if the goal with every image or video that you put out as your ad creative is foundationally, you go in it with the mindset of, this needs to tell a story that provokes emotion, right? So for example, and I wish I could show images here, but I don't have it. If you had, there's a great image actually I saw of a guy kayaking in a deep, deep blue clear ocean, and maybe 10 meters behind him is this mammoth shark. Right? And if you just threw that out there as an image, all of a sudden, and you ask, hey, when you see this image, what do you see? A lot of people are like, oh, danger, oh, fright, or this or that. There's a great image that we used one time where there was a woman's pair of shoes that were floating on like a lake, but she wasn't there, just the shoes, but her shadow you could see in the lake. Wow. Now, and the headline or the first question asked was, hey, do you feel invisible to your audience? Now, just like that, rather than just showing a boring laptop with a pen and a paper, but you have this image of this woman's shoes that are on a lake, she's kind of floating, she can't be seen, and you now ask a thought-provoking question that says, hey, do you feel invisible to your audience? Now, the emotions are going, the thoughts going, a story is being inserted into that, and now that person feels connected to say, I've got to know more.
How important is it to be polarizing?
Well, I probably quote this incorrectly, but everyone knows that if you're just beige, if you're in the middle, people don't pay attention.
Right.
So now I will say this though, it's not in everybody's DNA to be like polarizing or take a hard stand on something. And if that's going to make an inauthentic version of you, then don't do it. But I believe the more you can be absolute about something, you're like, this is how it goes, this is what it is, or I'm picking this angle or this angle, you're going to get people who love you and hate you. The ones who love you are going to want to interact with you more. The ones who hate you are going to talk about you anyways.
And they're not going to buy your stuff.
They're not going to buy your stuff, but they're going to share it and like, check out this guy. You know, the old adage goes, any publicity is good publicity. There's some truth to that. So I am a big fan of taking a hard stand and kind of polarizing audiences. So you have lovers and haters.
Well, I'm trying to think how I'm going to misquote myself here, so I have to be careful, which is not a good thing to do. Who do you remember and admire and think of as a leader or a visionary or a maven, whatever word you want to use, that is not to some degree polarizing or extreme?
Yep.
Even if you can't stand them, you still know who they are. And I think some people are so afraid to differentiate because they go, but I just want everyone to love me. Right. Not everyone's going to love you. It's just the way it is.
Even if you're a nice guy. Yeah. Yeah, I think you bring up a great point. One of the greatest detriments to businesses using Facebook ads is being super general and super beige. Like if you just beige, like, hey, let me show you how to increase your business. God, everybody's saying that. Nobody, even though the ideal prospect might want that, they're not being like, yes, I want that. But if you take an aggressive stand, you're very specific, you're not general, and you're not beige, you're gonna just shine black or white, you have much higher probability to people come behind you, align themselves with you, which brings up kind of a great last point. I believe rejection marketing is just as important as attraction marketing.
Describe that.
So attraction marketing basically is what everyone talks about. It's like, how do I find my ideal prospect and attract them to me? How do I say whatever I need to? How do I be the happy person so that like they align with me? But just as important, you want your non-ideal customers and prospects to be like, I hate that person. I don't want anything to do with that person, because the rejection marketing, essentially having the people who are not aligned with you say no to you, is going to save your costs. Now you're not just generating general leads or customers.
And they were never going to buy from you anyway. Never.
But it also makes the people who do like you and follow you be even more loyal to you.
Because it's that, us against them mentality.
Exactly. And they feel like, this guy gets me. We don't like those enemies either. So we're on the same page. Like I think people don't put enough emphasis on rejection marketing and put too much on attraction marketing. And I think there needs to be a balance of both.
So there's a lot of people who watch this show because of my background that are in the fitness industry.
Sure.
So if, let's just say, I mean, because the fitness industry can be, and this is just a quick example, but think about your industry, how this would apply to you. But a lot of people are familiar with the fitness industry. A lot of my audience is in the fitness industry. So let's just say there's like someone who does holistic, spiritual, energy healing yoga. Boy, that would be fun. It actually sounds very relaxing to me. And then there's someone who likes mixed martial arts conditioning.
Sure.
Very extreme.
Right.
Although the MMA guys could probably benefit from some of the chill stuff too to recover.
Right, sure.
For what I do, because of my business is so diverse, I make sure that the colors are different.
Yep.
The fonts are different. Yep. The language is different. For the MMA crowd, I might cuss a little bit.
Yep.
But for the holistic people, I'm going to say things like your life journey, it's your mission, it's your calling, and things like that. But how do I, knowing that, how do I do that attraction repulsion thing?
Yeah, well, I think and you mentioned a good point, by understanding what I call the four forces. So I believe everybody is motivated and makes a decision to some sort of behavior based on four things: fears and frustrations, wants and aspirations. And once you understand the fears, frustrations, wants and aspirations of your ideal prospect, and you understand the actual jargon and lingo and culture that's being cultivated in that space, you want to be very clear about how you say what you say, the tone you say what you say, the colors that you say, how you say what you say. All of that matters, because again, that is going to be, for the MMA guy who's saying the softer colors and the life journey and the spiritual bliss, they're going to be like, forget this. But that's rejection, right? Yeah. They're not going to come through your space, and they're not going to waste your time or anything like that. Whereas the person who's in that space are going to be like, and here's kind of another writer down or takeaway. A good message is when your ideal prospect not understands you, but a good message is when your ideal prospect feels understood by you.
Yes, I would agree. Yeah.
Big difference, because most people, business owners, when they're communicating through their marketing, are basically like, hey, I just want that person to understand what I'm saying. That shouldn't be the goal. Your goal should be, I want my ideal prospect to say, that person gets me.
And because of that, I'm willing to spend more time and effort and money on their programs, products, and services.
Because one of the things that entrepreneurs don't understand, and I've got to remind myself of this every single day, is that nobody gives a shit about me or my products. Nobody wants what I have to sell. But they do want a desire. They want an outcome. They want a feeling that's attached to an outcome. And so, I mean, and brands like Apple do this great. Like if you watch an Apple ad, you very rarely see the actual device that they're selling in their ad, because they realize nobody really just wants another smartphone. They want lifestyle. They want a connection. They want representation. So I think as long as you remember that people don't want what you have, but they do want the result that what you have could bring them, and you emphasize that in your communication.
That you just provide the solution which ends their pain or provides the, it takes them to the goal line.
Yeah, and you will see far better results in all of your marketing efforts if you focus on that.
All right. Go nowhere. We're going to be back in just a second. We're going to talk about the future of Facebook.
Future.
With this guy right here, Nicholas Kusmich. All right, stay with us. Be right back. Hi, my name is John Spencer Ellis, and I want to help you reach all of your personal, professional, physical, and financial goals. You have greatness within you, and sometimes you just need a coach, a trainer, and a mentor to help you realize your full potential. Since the age of 12, I have immersed myself in the study and practice of maximizing human potential, physically, mentally, personally, professionally, and financially. I believe you and I have so much to offer, to experience, and to give to the world. It's time for you to step into your brilliance and shine like you're supposed to right now. I invite you to learn how I can help you reach your goals and dreams. Thanks for your time. Welcome back to this final segment of the Entrepreneur Show with Nicholas Kusmich. And I pronounced your name perfectly that time. That was really good, wasn't
See,
it?
it only took the third time.
It's incredible. My entrepreneurial journey is complete.
Morgan Freeman, you ain't got nothing on John Spencer Ellis.
Oh, come on now. Morgan is incredible. So would that be great if I get him to do the opening sequence for this show?
Gosh.
It would, everyone would tune in just to hear Morgan.
Just for the voice.
It was so good. All right, you guys stick around for the whole show, because now, in this last segment, we're going to talk about the future of Facebook advertising. Things change. Here's the thing, too. A lot of our mutual friends, people that are super heavy hitters in the entrepreneur, online marketing, e-commerce space, a lot of them are going to other platforms.
Sure.
A lot of them are trying to figure out the changes in Facebook, but Facebook is still the king.
Sure.
It is, and it probably will be for a very long time. What's happening? What's evolving?
Yeah. It's an easy answer and a long answer. The easy answer is Facebook is doing everything it can to make a better overall experience for the user, and also, because their entire revenue model is based on advertising, to make a fantastic experience for the advertiser. And they're always balancing that, and they're looking to stay cutting edge. So if you think about that, I mean, they recognized that they were moving towards images. So what did they do? They bought Instagram, right? Because they're like, okay, well, we noticed images are a big thing. Then they noticed that people are moving towards different things. They tried to buy Snapchat. When Snapchat said no, they said, well, then we'll put you under, kind of thing.
And it's going to happen.
Well, I can't predict the future, but you kind of don't mess with Facebook.
Right.
Then they started noticing that heavy messaging was like starting to happen. So what do? They acquired WhatsApp. Then they said, you know what, we want to be the best video platform in the world, and so they're competing head-to-head against Google and YouTube on that.
So how specifically are they doing that? Is that video in the news feed, or is it going to be this new watch?
Well, so you see the evolution, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, where there was very little video in the news feed, now video. It's more video than images. And then they're like, well, wait a second, we've got to create a platform now where producers, and I think the play is, let's take some people off of YouTube, let's take these heavy content people off of YouTube and put them on Facebook because we can get bigger reach. So they started Facebook Watch, and they started rolling out literally production level shows.
I heard the budget's huge for them.
And they're handpicking some, and it's growing and growing and growing for Facebook Watch. What did Instagram do? Instagram TV. Out of nowhere, Instagram, obviously a Facebook product. So what I love about it, again, I wish I had a crystal ball and I could see the future, know exactly where it's going. I don't. But Facebook is intelligent to understand trends that are happening, where people are moving, and I think if we could summarize Facebook's future and you as a business owner and how you can capitalize on that, we're moving back to kind of establishing conversational type marketing. That's why they put a heavy emphasis on the chat bots and chat and all that stuff. Now, I think some people are doing this incorrectly, but the point is, for so many years in marketing, it was like ad, web page, buy. Ad, web page, buy. And people were like, well, wait a second, we're human beings. We need human interaction. We could have done this over Skype or Zoom. The quality would be terrible. But the fact that we're here flesh on, people want that. So what did Facebook do? Facebook Lives. All of a sudden, it's this new way to engage. What do? Facebook chats are heavy now. Why? Because people want to have conversation. And I think in the world of like, let's automate everything and let's kind of like have all the machine do all the work, the future, it's let's bring conversations and humans back into the mix. Whether that's Facebook Lives, where you can interact and see people you follow face to face and ask questions and interact that way. Chatbots, where you can have conversations with real human beings. If the AI device can't answer the question, then you're connected to a real human being.
By the way, we're using ManyChat. It has really helped our business a lot.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. In fact, I know entire companies who have moved their entire customer service away from everything else and put it on the Facebook chat platform and using stuff like ManyChat. So when we're talking about future, I think on the highest level, the business owner needs to, how do we bring humanization back into the marketing / business process? And the tools are gonna come. It's the messengers, it's the SMS. I just came back from a conversation where the latest and greatest advancements in marketing are around ManyChat, are around SMS text, are around Facebook conversations. It's this idea of how do we have conversations with real human beings on multiple platforms in order to kind of rehumanize business and rehumanize the marketing experience.
Earlier you said that we're seeing more and more video in the newsfeed, and I'm wondering if there's two reasons for that. One is that the algorithm is favoring it and people are producing more. Is it both?
I think it's a combination of both. Definitely Facebook has made a hard line in the sand saying we're going all in on video. And the barrier to entry to create video now is so low. Like you have a smartphone and you have a production suite in the palm of your hands. And so, and there's this massive like uptake of, here's a scary thought, elementary school kids, this is last year, were asked, what is the #1 occupation you want to have when you grow up? Do you know what the answer is?
I'm going to guess something with social media or video.
It's, I want to be a YouTube star.
Wow.
Elementary school. They're not like, I want to be a policeman, a fireman, a politician, a billionaire.
They don't watch TV.
They don't watch TV.
No.
They want to be a YouTube star. So with the advent of like the vlog, you know, with the advent of creators now having the ability to be creative and communicate on channels like video, that plus the algorithm, I think if you can figure out how to do Facebook video well, both lives, videos like this, candid videos, like even just like cell phone, like any type of video, I think that is where the movement is happening, because again, it rehumanizes the experience. No longer is John Spencer Ellis this guy way over there, untouchable, kind of like hiding in behind this big huge desk in an office. No, he's a real dude. We're at a real home, in a real background, and I can interact with him. My God, like now I feel connected to him. And I think that's where we're going.
And that honestly is one of the reasons why I did this show. One is I've done, a lot of people don't know, but I've done a lot of TV for 10, 15 years or more, a lot of different stuff. This is actually my second talk show.
Wow.
But aside from that, I wanted to make it real and to let people know this is real.
Right.
A lot of people didn't even think this was really my home. And they thought like I rented.
Let me go on record. This is his home. And those 2 dogs running around are his dogs. They're not rented.
No, I don't rent French bulldogs. So part of it was to create the feeling and the understanding that it is real, that it is tangible, and to say, you know, we've worked super hard. Right. I'm super grateful. This is fun. Let me share what I've learned so you can have fun and grow as well. And then also for, you know, as a video platform, this allows me to bond with my friends like you. So it's another time. So if you're not doing video, and you don't have to do a talk show, you can do whatever you want to do, but man, you need to do video. So here's the next question though, and this comes up a lot. A lot of people are self-conscious about being on video.
Yes.
They don't feel good. And let me just give you guys, you can't see it because we have everything set up here, but there are 1, 2, 3, there's 4 lights, and there are 3 cameras and 3 microphones. And a makeup artist.
And a lot of cords and wires.
And
and 2 people manning cameras.
So if it's, you don't always have to do this stuff, but that's why you can also elevate it if you choose. But a lot of people don't want to get on camera because they don't feel confident about the way they look. Look, I didn't look like this. I had eye surgery 3 weeks ago. I actually have black eyes, but the makeup made it go away. You don't see it right now.
What a sexy beast we got right here.
Woo! Not the point. Not the point. But you can do things to make yourself look better and feel better and all that sort of thing as well. But what do you say when someone doesn't feel super confident, or they don't want to go on camera, they don't want to do that, but yet they know this is where the future is?
Yeah, I think there's two things that people have to realize. Number one, the greatest, and this is the underlying premise. I believe that every transaction on the internet, not every, most transactions on the internet will happen because of what I would call resonance. Mm-hmm. I mean, am I the only person who does what I do? I don't think so. I do it the best.
This is true.
But no, am I the only person who does what I do? No, but I think anyone who's willing to transact with me is because they feel like they resonate with me. Mm-hmm. So if you know that to be true, then that makes video a lot easier, because now all you have to do is be you. Mm-hmm. You don't have, I mean, if you can't do the lights, here's one of the worst things I see people do on videos, because they believe like, oh, I've got to put on a show now. I've got to put on a mask, and I got to be the guy or the gal that I not really am. So first and foremost, you just have to be you, because there are people out there who are going to be like, I love that person. I love that personality, the quirkiness of that person, or the things that they say, or the way that they say it, right? And if you look at a lot of people on social and doing videos, I mean, they're not always the most attractive or the smartest or the most articulate and well-spoken. They're not those things. But we follow them because we feel like we're connected to them. So that's number one.
They have value to add.
And they have value to add. And then secondly, there's no way around it. Practice makes progress. I was having this conversation the other day because I shoot daily videos for my membership community. And they're like, man, you're really good at that. I'm like, that's only because I do it every day for the last however many years. The first time I was like, and you know.
I was terrible.
And you look at your own image instead of like the camera lens, and your eyes go back and forth, and like it's just a mess. But nothing can trump just, start. Do a 30-second video. And here's the best way to do it. I would say, look out into your marketplace and see what are the top 10 questions that your industry is asking about your industry. What are the top things? And then shoot 10 one-minute videos answering those questions. My God, overnight, you will become perceived as an authority, because A, you're providing value, B, you've proven you understand what the market is asking for, and C, you provide an answer. And you've done this by doing nothing more than holding up your cell phone and shooting a 1-minute video of answers you already have in here because of what people are asking. I mean, it's the easiest way to get going and get started.
And the fact that you answered their question that they had lets them know you care.
Yes.
And also, if you are an information marketer or something like that, those questions, if they keep repeating like that, those are also the modules for your program, or the chapters of your book, or the segments of your live presentation, which also can be recorded into another video product, right?
Yeah.
It goes on and on.
In fact, I think you landed on a great point. I would say the easiest way to kind of get going with anything is A, recognize the questions that are being asked, answer those questions via video, and now all of a sudden you could spin that. I try to make my rule of thumb is every time I open my mouth or have a conversation with someone I think where I might say something intelligent, the cameras are rolling. Because you never know if you're going to share something great. And once you have that is a course. That is a book. That is a blog post. There's so much that could come from that I think if people just get used to answering questions on video, anytime they're in a conversation with a great fan where they might be answering something intelligent, roll the cameras and you'll be surprised at what could come of that.
It might even be someone else's query about that and say, you know what, I found that interesting when I saw you on video talking about XYZ.
Yep.
Would you be willing to come to my group and talk about XYZ?
Come to the group, get on a podcast, do an interview. The opportunities are endless, and the only thing holding anyone back is just being afraid to run up the camera, talk to the lens, and answer some questions.
And remember, if the people don't like you and made fun of you, it's their problem. They were never going to buy from you anyway, and you're already one step ahead because you're doing it and they're not. So there you go.
There you go.
What's crazy to me, I'm going to wrap it up with this, is nearly every show we talk about dealing with haters and some type of insecurity or frustration or doubt that people have because of that, and it's really unfortunate. And I think Chris Record said it well. He says it's easy for us to say just get over it, but it hurts. It's not always easy, but you still need to move on and just use that fuel for your fire to build whatever you're going to build. So that's it, you guys. You made it all the way through 3 segments of the Entrepreneur Show. Nicholas, tell them how they can learn about you, and if they are so bold to work with you and crush it on Facebook, how do they contact you?
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I have the least brandable name on the internet, Nicholas Kusmich. So we always got to spell it. But all things Nicholas Kusmich. On Twitter, at Nicholas Kusmich. On YouTube, at Nicholas Kusmich. On Facebook, at Nicholas Kusmich. NicholasKusmich.com. I mean, we have, whenever you're ready, there's multiple ways that we can kind of help you out. We have a brand new book out that's great called Give. You can kind of get introduced to our world. We have some membership programs and all that, but the best thing to do is find me on Facebook. I'm the only Nicholas Kusmich on the Facebooks. I love to connect with people. PM me, write me, connect on Facebook, and that's the best way where we can kind of build a conversation, have a relationship, and then see if we can help you in any way.
Cool. All right, you guys, that's it. Thank you again for joining me and Nicholas. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. Thanks. Hi, my name is John Spencer Ellis, and I want to help you reach all of your personal, professional, physical, and financial goals. You have greatness within you, and sometimes you just need a coach, a trainer, and a mentor to help you realize your full potential. Since the age of 12, I have immersed myself in the study and practice of maximizing human potential, physically, mentally, personally, professionally, and financially. I believe you and I have so much to offer, to experience, and to give to the world. It's time for you to step into your brilliance and shine like you're supposed to right now. I invite you to learn how I can help you reach your goals and dreams. Thanks for your time.